Breaking tonight, two world leaders did something no diplomatic playbook could have predicted. They laced up their skates, pulled on matching jerseys, and hit the ice with a professional women's hockey team in Ottawa. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and Finnish President Alexander Stubb stepped onto the rink with the PWHL's Ottawa Charge on April 14, 2026, running drills alongside some of the best female hockey players on the planet. Both men donned Ottawa Charge sweaters. Both men looked completely at home. And this wasn't just optics. Mark Carney played college hockey as a goaltender at Harvard University and later at Oxford in England. It was on that Oxford ice where he met his wife, Diana Fox, while she starred for Oxford's women's hockey team. Alexander Stubb grew up playing for HIFK in Finland, one of the country's most storied clubs. His father, Goran Stubb, built the NHL's entire European scouting infrastructure from the ground up, serving as the league's director of European scouting since 1983, after serving as managing director of the Finnish Ice Hockey Association for 7 years before that. These aren't politicians staging a photo op. These are two leaders with ice in their veins. And what they announced after stepping off that rink could reshape the Arctic, redefine Western defense, and position Canada at the center of a technological revolution most people haven't even heard of yet. Dear viewers, the hockey moment was magnetic, but the substance behind them, and it is staggering. After the skate, Carney and Stubb moved to Parliament Hill for a formal bilateral meeting. And the joint statement that emerged from that meeting is unlike anything Canada has signed with a European partner in decades. It spans Arctic sovereignty, icebreaker production, defense intelligence sharing, artificial intelligence infrastructure, quantum computing, critical minerals, and telecommunications, all in a single day. Stubb told reporters he exchanges text messages with Carney almost daily. That's not a diplomatic courtesy. That's a working alliance operating in real time. Let's start with the Arctic, because that's where the strategic gravity sits. Canada and Finland just signed a maritime memorandum of understanding that establishes a formal framework for cooperation on icebreaker development, the broader maritime industrial ecosystem, and joint work under the Icebreaker collaboration effort, known as the ICE Pact. For those unfamiliar, the ICE Pact is the trilateral partnership between Canada, Finland, and the United States, launched in 2024 to counter Russia and China's growing dominance in polar waters. Russia operates over 30 diesel-powered icebreakers and the world's only nuclear icebreaker fleet, with new combat icebreakers entering service. China has declared itself a near-Arctic state and is building vessels to match that ambition. NATO's 7 Arctic member nations collectively trail Russia's ice-breaking capacity. Translation: the West has been losing the Arctic race for years, and this MOU is Canada and Finland locking arms to change that trajectory. Under the ICE Pact, the U.S. Coast Guard has already selected 2 Canadian-Finnish designs for its new Arctic security cutter program. One is a multi-purpose icebreaker designed by Seaspan and Finland's Acre Arctic for 6 of the new cutters. The other is the MPPS 100, a 4th-generation icebreaker developed by Chantier Davy and Helsinki Shipyard for 5 additional cutters. Canada holds the world's 2nd-largest icebreaking fleet. Finnish shipyards have built more than half of the world's icebreakers ever constructed. Together, they're not just participants in Arctic strategy, they're the industrial backbone of it. But dear viewers, the Arctic cooperation is only one layer of what happened in Ottawa. The two leaders announced the launch of negotiations on a General Security of Information Agreement between Canada and Finland. This is the kind of agreement that doesn't make headlines, but fundamentally changes what's possible between two countries. It governs how classified information is shared, how defense intelligence flows between governments, and how defense industries in both nations can collaborate on sensitive projects. Without this agreement, Finnish and Canadian defense contractors operate behind separate walls. With it, those walls come down. joint weapons development, integrated surveillance systems, shared Arctic threat assessments in near real time. And they didn't stop there. Both nations committed to reaching 5% of GDP in defense and security spending by 2035. 5%. To put that in perspective, NATO's current benchmark is 2%, and most members still struggle to meet it. Canada and Finland just set a target that would more than double that standard. They acknowledge this will require expanding their defense industrial bases significantly and committed to exploring new financial instruments to mobilize the capital needed for allied defense production. Finland brings a unique credibility to this partnership that no other European nation can match right now. Finland joined NATO in 2023, driven by the existential alarm of sharing an 830-mile border with Russia. President Stubb has delivered some of the most forceful rhetoric of any European leader about the threat Moscow poses to continental peace. This isn't a country playing diplomatic games. Finland mobilized its entire society, from military reservists to civil defense networks, because it understood the threat before most of Europe bothered to look east. The joint statement reaffirmed both nations' unwavering support for Ukraine's independence and territorial integrity. But it went further, committing to broader cooperation against hybrid threats through Finland's European Center of Excellence for countering hybrid threats in Helsinki. Disinformation campaigns, cyber attacks, infrastructure sabotage, the toolkit authoritarian states deploy below the threshold of open war. Canada and Finland are building the institutional architecture to fight back. Now here's where this story takes a turn that most analysts will miss entirely. The technology agreements signed alongside this partnership could have more long-term impact than the defense commitments. Canada and Finland issued a joint statement on sovereign technology and AI cooperation. They agreed to deepen coordination on sovereign technology, meaning the infrastructure, data systems, and computing power that nations need to control independently rather than lease from foreign corporations or rival states. Finland is now exploring participation in Canada's Sovereign Technology Alliance. Both countries committed to joint research in high-performance computing and artificial intelligence, enabling AI adoption across industry and government while scaling up small and medium-sized enterprises on both sides. Nokia, Finland's telecommunications giant, already operates a massive R&D campus in Ottawa's Canada North Tech Park, developing AI-powered networks, quantum-safe infrastructure, and next-generation 6G technology with over 1,900 researchers. The company broke ground on a new 750,000 square foot innovation campus in late 2025 and has invested over $1 billion in Canadian R&D over the past 5 years. This week, Export Development Canada and Nokia signed a new MOU to support Nokia's efforts to build AI gigafactories, massive computing facilities designed to develop, train, and deploy advanced AI models. The EU has committed €20 billion to establish up to 5 AI gigafactories across Europe, and Finland's Lumi supercomputer is part of a Nokia-led bid to scale one up. Canada isn't watching this revolution from the sidelines. It's wiring itself directly into the infrastructure, and the technology pipeline goes even deeper. The two governments are connecting Finland's CSC, IT Centre for Science, with Canada's Digital Research Alliance to collaborate on health data, earth sciences, and Arctic research computing. They committed to advancing quantum technologies together across research, commercialization, and workforce development, including a Canadian quantum trade mission to Finland. They're linking universities, research institutions, startups, and established firms on both sides into an integrated quantum ecosystem designed to deliver economic returns, not just academic papers. Critical minerals got their own dedicated framework. Canada and Finland share remarkably similar geological landscapes, and both sit on deposits essential for batteries, semiconductors, and clean energy infrastructure. The two countries will strengthen joint geoscience research between their national geological surveys, enhance technical exchanges on methodologies and data sets, and secure critical minerals supply chains, all building on the existing Canada-EU strategic partnership on raw materials. Dear viewers, step back and look at the full picture. In a single day, Canada locked in agreements covering icebreaker production, defense intelligence sharing, hybrid threat countermeasures, AI infrastructure, quantum computing, telecommunications, critical minerals, and Arctic sovereignty, all with a NATO ally that shares its northern geography, its democratic values, and its strategic urgency. A large delegation of Finnish CEOs from maritime, mining, defense, aerospace, artificial intelligence, space, and quantum sectors accompanied President Stubb to Ottawa, creating immediate pathways for industry partnerships. The hockey moment was the image. The substance behind it is a masterclass in alliance building at a time when the international order is fracturing along fault lines most governments still pretend don't exist. Carney isn't just making friends. He's constructing a network of sovereign, technologically capable democracies that can operate independently when the old structures fail, and cooperate seamlessly when they hold. Two leaders hit the ice together yesterday. One played goal at Harvard, the other grew up in Finnish hockey royalty. They exchanged drills with professional athletes, pulled off their jerseys, walked into a room on Parliament Hill, and signed agreements that could define the next decade of Arctic strategy, Western defense capacity, and sovereign technology infrastructure. If you want to stay ahead of these shifts before they become tomorrow's headlines, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and turn on notifications. The partnerships being built right now will determine which nations lead and which ones get left behind. This is Canada Next. I'll see you tomorrow.